Okay. All right. Good morning. I'd like to call the Design Review Committee meeting to order for Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. We will begin with roll call.
Good morning. Okay. Commission Chairwoman Banducci,
Here.
Committee Member Browning, Committee Member Cameron,
Here.
Committee Member Ellsworth,
Here.
and Committee Member Perez.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, approval of the minutes. These are from February 14th. Has everyone had an opportunity to review? And if there are no revisions, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and the committee will vote.
Committee Member Perez,
Aye.
Committee Member Ellsworth,
Yes.
Committee Member Cameron,
Aye.
and Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, public hearings. There are none, which takes us to item D, public hearings, new. The only item on our agenda today under public hearings is ACGC second and E multi-story building master sign permit located at 339 2nd Street. The recommendation is to hold a public hearing, but I know you have an update on this one.
Yeah, thank you. We, staff, on behalf of the applicant, would like to request to continue this item to a date certain to the regular April 10th meeting. There are a couple more signs that they would like to incorporate into their master sign program, which affects our findings of approval as well as the program itself. So in order to provide good service, we'd like to continue it instead of acting on it now, and then which would require them to come back to do a modification. So I do have a suggested motion for that. I'll pull that up. If you'd like to continue it.
Thank you. Do we have to put it out to all the comments first? Or is it just up to...
Nope, I see the applicant is here. She may speak if she wants to, but if not, nope. We can just continue the public hearing to the date certain, April 10th meeting.
Okay. Committee, any comments, questions? Or the motion?
I'll make the motion. It says I move to the Design Review Committee continue item DI, the ACGC second and E multi-story building master plan sign permit to the next regular meeting on 10 April 24.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
All right. We have a motion and a second, and the committee will now vote.
Committee Member Perez,
Aye.
Committee Member Ellsworth,
Yes.
Committee Member Cameron,
Aye.
Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. All right. Item E, old business, none. Item F, new business, none. That takes us to item G, pre-application review. Our first one under pre-application review today is 3230 Hiller. This is a new 44-unit apartment building. And staff will lead us through this.
Yeah, Assistant Planner Ponce will lead us. We do have the renderings that I can pull up and put on the screen. No presentation, but yeah, if you want to maybe introduce the applicants and kind of a little background on the project while I pull up the plans.
Yeah, so the Housing Authority is our applicant. They are working on building more houses kind of towards the Winco area, and they're here for some pre-app guidance. They will be applying for an alley vacation, so we originally thought this would be going to you guys for final approval, but now it's going to have to go to Planning Commission and City Council because of the alley vacation. So we're just here to gather some feedback on the design and see what you guys like or don't like and how they can make it better. It's a 44-unit complex with 30 parking spaces, and it's 2 stories. It's going to be affordable, 100% affordable. They are applying for a density bonus to have more units and maybe get some waivers for some design standards if they can't meet them. But I think doing a preliminary review these last couple days, I think it all checks out. But it's always good to get a second opinion from our experts. So that is why we're here. So we will have Caitlin Castellano scroll through for us, and you just let us know what you think.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So, yeah, here's some street view renderings. Do we know what street? The applicant is more than welcome to come up and talk about it if they want to.
Yeah, or anybody on Zoom, Emily, if you feel like speaking through this. I mean, you guys know the project probably a little bit more better than I do, so feel free to hop in and describe and explain away.
It's a little hard on Zoom because we can't share our video, but it looks like Emily is unmuting.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Cheryl Churchill is also in the room on behalf of the Housing Authority. But
Oh, no.
I'll just give a quick sort of framing. My name is Emily Ware. I'm with Operative Office. We are partnering together with the Housing Authority and with Brinshore Development LLC in the redevelopment of the portfolio. The object of the project, the Housing Authority is thinking of or planning to demolish and replace almost the entirety of the portfolio at higher density and higher quality with new accessibility upgrades and more parking and newer, safer, more livable buildings in place of the ones that are currently there. It's also an opportunity to further YCH's mission or PACE's mission in the community to serve more residents. So PACE has been working in Eureka for a very long time, and we're excited to be helping to facilitate their vision for the future of the portfolio. So I can jump in as well. What you're looking at here are some historical reference images. These are the two closest sites on the GIS map of historic properties in Eureka. So we thought we would, make sure that we're keeping an eye on historic properties close by, making sure that we're being referential and sensitive and reflective of the current urban fabric around us. You can see framed in green is the site that we're talking about today. It is the intended first phase of, again, the redevelopment of the entire Housing Authority portfolio in this area. So we've got shown in red the balance of the 25-1 and Prospect master plan. So these remaining sites will be redeveloped eventually. We've started with the site framed in green because there are only 8 units there currently. None of them are currently accessible. So, we're trying to displace as few residents as possible. Everyone in those 8 units will be offered the opportunity to either relocate within the portfolio or offered a tenant protection voucher to relocate outside of the Housing Authority as well. We've looked to a 2-story building here. We find it to be contextual for the rest of the neighborhood. And it's a long and skinny site, as you can see. And so we've been constrained by wanting to accommodate some additional parking. That was a big part of the priority for the project for the Housing Authority and its residents. A lot of community outreach has already been done, and that was one of the strong calls in our community outreach process. If we were to build any taller of a building here, our fear would be that it would not necessarily be contextual for the neighborhood, and also would necessitate elevators and corridors and probably structured parking as well. So the addition of any additional units would push us up likely to not just a 3-story building, but a 4-story building because of needing to accommodate elevators and additional parking. We've got 2 open spaces currently contemplated in the plan. We like to call them the front yard and the backyard. The goal of the project is really to activate Hyler Street. In the front yard, you can see we have contemplated a playground and a picnic and barbecue area. And in the backyard, we have contemplated an open green space and community garden. We did some community outreach and really talked about what folks would like to see in these community outdoor areas. And these were the 4 highest priorities. So made sure to get them all accommodated. The project will also benefit from a community laundry room and also an on-site manager's office and a grouped mail room for security of mail and packages. It's a long skinny site, so we've arranged the buildings so that we have a portion kind of closer to Hyler and then stepping back and then moving forward towards Hyler again. The idea is really just to try to break down the length of the site and make it feel like a small village and break down the length of the building. We've also got, not every ground floor unit faces Hyler or has entrances facing Hyler, but we do have groups of units with shared entrances that face Hyler. We have 22 ground floor units and 22 doors, felt like a lot of doors along Hyler. So we've broken it down to just 6. And we feel like that gives some strong focal points to the facade of the building. We're looking at fiber cement for hardy siding that sort of mirrors some of the clapboard siding that you see on some of the historic buildings in the area. It's also really hardy and stands up to the weather, especially wet weather in Eureka. Got a few color options here. We're really leaning towards the one at the top, but we're curious what folks might think about color. The whole portfolio now is sort of various shades of green, so we're thinking it might be nice to go with something new, blue, and really lend some fresh new branding to the portfolio. And we've got some material samples here on the left. You can see the hardy siding and the composite shingle roof. And I think that about covers it. We want to make sure not to talk too much and to give the committee space to tell us what you're thinking and what feels like a priority and how we can accommodate your vision for the future of Eureka.
Thank you very much for that overview and summary of the project. That was very helpful. Whoa. All right. We'll begin with questions or comments across the committee for staff or the applicant. Any thoughts? Thank you. Lots to consider here. Colors, layout, site, structure, form, shape.
Chair,
Yes.
this is a fine project. It's astounding to me that it's even here in front of us, but this is exactly the kind of thing that for housing I think that we've been looking for, rather than those multi-story abominations that are planned. So there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, for years I've been saying, can't the Housing Authority rebuild some of those units out there? And so this is great. This is great. Looks great. Oh, was my...
Yeah, I think it's great that the city's using those underutilized lots and infilling. And I like the design of the project, the kind of feel of a village, and you move in and out of spaces. I think it's great.
Great. I have a kind of a overall plan question for the group. Have you looked at like what the layout would look like across all the sites and how each site would integrate with one another? Like right now, the courtyard is, I believe it's east facing, right? Yeah, north is. Can you go back to the plan? And then you have kind of that building block in the center, but is there anything that starts to connect all of these communities in some way to further enhance kind of that multifamily living? And so north is up or to the right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can respond to that.
Okay.
Absolutely. We're thinking holistically about the portfolio at large. We are seeking approval here today. Well, not even seeking approval, but we are proceeding first with this green phase. Really, it's driven by our ability to finance affordable housing in this area, and given the constraints that we have, it's also driven by the desire not to displace really more than these first 8 units before, and really not even displaced, but disrupt more than these first 8 units. We'd like to finish this first phase with as much sensitivity towards not disrupting current residents before we've got enough units online that we can not ask folks to move more than once. So we really want to build back as many units as possible in this first phase. So we're starting here just with this one, but yes, we are thinking about how it fits into the overall master plan, and how future phases will fit together. So definitely an eye towards that. I think the site on the opposite side of Hyler, so sort of mirror image, is the shape of the site across Hyler. The other direction, actually. Yeah, and actually there's maybe the diagram with all of the phases would be good. You have the overall, oh, that one. So yeah, you can see exactly across Tyler on the east side of the street. Yes, we'll be doing redevelopment obviously on that side as well. That'll likely be where we head next. Once we've got all 44 units built back and a place where folks can just move right across the street if they so choose. So once we're working on that phase to the east of Hyler, we'll accommodate sort of a mirror green space or community space so that the two sites are talking to each other, and this becomes a little bit of a village node for outdoor space. And then, of course, there are some community facilities on Harris Street, including the Boys and Girls Club and the Housing Authority's offices, maintenance facility, there's a police office there. So those will all remain in place as well. And so we're really thinking about how we're how they're speaking to the rest of the project, and if they do get improved or redeveloped, just making sure that we're being really sensitive to how the site is currently successful, and trying to add and augment the community facilities that we're offering rather than take away or replace.
Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, I was just thinking about, the southern exposure of the project and the opportunity for gathering on the south side of the site is now, taken over by some parking. So I saw that there was a plan for maybe like a garden in that area, but just, things to consider that kind of that south end there would probably be really well served by an outdoor space. I could see like this being flipped across the street, and then you kind of have that interaction between like the courtyards kind of mid block, and that, is really beautiful. But I'd like to see like more activities for the tenants on that south end, or at least, or by the buildings. I don't know if there's a way to kind of rearrange the parking to allow, maybe some more green space or open space. They're kind of mid block.
Can I add a little comment? Per our code, we have to have parking behind the building, so that's why they chose to put their parking there.
That's fine. It's like, you could like take over more space and maybe adjust some more parking on the north instead of on the south, right? So
yeah,
it's just
that's
it's
a good idea.
Quality of life, right? There's something about being able to like step out into an outdoor space out of your residence, that adds to the quality of life. So just thinking about how people are actually going to use the space, and that southern space is prime for, enjoying an afternoon barbecue. And so just
That's a great recommendation. Thank you.
thinking about the overall plan. And then just, maintainability of the materials and selection of products is going to be essential for the longevity of the project. Seems that that's already in conversation, so that's good. And then just strategically thinking about landscaping and, maintenance and tree maintenance over time. A lot of times trees aren't maintained up against the building edge, and create issues over time, either with leaves dropping into gutters and creating other water issues. So I'm excited for this project overall. Just those are things that are coming to mind, when it comes to longevity of a large project like this. So I thought I'd share that with the group.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Cassidy. Yeah, those are all great recommendations, and we hear you loud and clear. We're excited to be partnered with Pacific Builders and with the Housing Authority, and so much local knowledge and insight into what works and gets well maintained in Eureka and responds well to the climate and is sensitive to the existing urban fabric. And you know, I hear you loud and clear on the desire for the green space. We do have a fairly, it probably doesn't read on this plan. It's a big site, and we do have a fairly sizable setback. And we have sort of thought carefully about the typology that we want to build here. Big part of the goal of redevelopment was to improve site security, and right now there's a lot of folks flowing through the housing authority properties, and so we are trying to balance giving everybody a sense of a front door out to the sidewalk and also giving a sense of security. So that if you notice on the plan, we've got these little groupings of units. So I like to think of them sort of like each little grouping of units is sort of like a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood. There's a front door out to Hyler and also a rear door out to the parking. And then, yes, a little staircase that serves 4 units above. So it's 4 units on the ground floor and 4 units on the second floor that all get grouped around these corridors with a door out to the parking and a door out to Hyler. So they're like little groupings of 8. And I think it's nice to imagine that everybody will have a place for a doormat and a plant and a wreath. So everybody has a little bit of a unique front door, or an opportunity for a unique front door that's covered and dry, and then also gives the impression or the function of a front door out to Hyler and a rear door out to the parking.
Emily, I did notice on the elevations there's kind of a lighter color in those hallways. Is it intended to be like a transparent or semi-transparent material that connects the building? Oh, not these ones, not these elevations, but I think in the renderings there was like maybe a skylight looking material.
Yeah, great question. Landscape, we just brought on our landscape architect, so landscape's definitely, and our civil engineer, so landscape and civil are definitely in process. We're grateful to have had a lot of input on the outdoor space and are currently in the process of folding that in. And then I would say in equal parts, as we are developing landscape and outdoor space, we're also gathering a lot of feedback on color. So these colors are definitely, we're interested to hear what folks think. I think you might be talking about the lighter yellow color. Is that what
No, that's between the grouping of units, there's kind of a white roof on the upper left. There it is. That one.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Are those? Yeah.
Yeah, that is a parapet that may or may not get maintained. It screens like building mechanics, and I think Michael Den Hartog is available as well. I'm not sure.
Oh, I see
what
now.
material will be
It's
for that.
peeking out and it's over the.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking that there was a nice like semi-transparent, I don't know, natural daylighting coming down into the circulation
what you're saying.
areas. Yeah.
I see what you're
Okay.
saying.
But now I see it's
Yeah.
like fencing. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little parapet for the building mechanics that will be up on the roof. And then you can imagine right below that, there's that tall window right there. Yes. And below that, a glass door. So on either end of those corridors, there is a really nice amount of glazing to bring in a lot of natural light into those corridors. So the idea is for them to be bright and airy and clean. And so those windows are pretty big, and hopefully those will bring in enough daylight. But I also hear you on the skylight, and you can certainly think about whether there's an opportunity to bring in daylight from above. One of the things that is worthy of note are the solar panels that you can see here in the rendering in the southwest corner. By definition in California, buildings of this height need to meet the Title 24 definition of net zero. And so, there's lots of different ways of calculating net zero, but we will meet the Title 24 definition of net zero through the installation of solar panels.
That's great. Okay. Any thoughts? Colors?
Colors are great.
Love that. We like the sound of that.
The top row. Yeah. Yeah, I like the little accent of yellow. You have to kind of break up the kind of the toned down beige and the blue. Accentuate the entrances. Okay. Any further thoughts, comments? Thanks for letting me ramble on.
No, we like it. We want to be good and sensitive neighbors and be a good asset to the community. And so yeah, bring it on. If you have thoughts, let us know.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very positive project for our community, so we appreciate the attention to detail and thoughtfulness. Okay. Public comment on pre-application? Yeah? Okay. I'll open it up to public comment. If you wish to speak, you can come forward to the counter, and then you just state your name. Do they still need to state their address for record? Name and city of residence. Thank you. Hi.
Hi there, Cheryl Churchill. I'm the executive director at the Housing Authority.
Oh. I was like, I don't think I can control that anymore from
There we
up
go.
here.
I think
Okay.
we're on. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Cheryl Churchill. I'm the executive director at the Housing Authority. I've been working with Bryn-Shore and Operative Office on this project, and with the support of the planning department at the City of Eureka. And I just wanted to say that we're thrilled to be working on this and to receive your comments today.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you being here today. Yeah. Any further comments? Anyone on the call today? No hands? Okay, very good. I'll close the public comment period. And the committee will not be taking action on this item today. So thank you all for the presentation and for walking us through the project. Okay, moving forward. Yes? Okay. Next item under pre-application review is G2, and this is located at 3116 Harrison for a creative sign permit. I understand someone needs to recuse themselves.
Yeah, I'll be recusing myself from this discussion as I'm an employee of Pearson Company. I'll step out for a minute.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, we have the paper here. Thank you.
You ready for me? Yeah. Good morning, Chairwoman and committee members. I'm Senior Planner Savage, and I'm going to present to you today the creative sign permit for Pearson. So the project, a little background, we came to you last year for a general plan amendment so that that area which used to only allow hospital offices could now offer offices, general overall offices. And so Pearson moved their operation there, and they now have offices there and are wanting to put up their signs. So for a creative sign permit allows for creative signs that deviate from sign standards. So the deviation for their signs is that they are wanting to have a monument sign on Harrison, which would be like across from Schaefer's, and a pole sign on Harris Street. They are also going to have a wall sign. So as you can see, okay, so let's scroll back and we'll take a look scroll all the way to the top. There's a monument sign that's going to be on Harrison Avenue, across from Schaefer's, like I said. Scroll down and we'll look at all of them, and then we can put up the requirements. This is the wall sign. That's the wall sign, which, yep. And then the pole sign, if you scroll back a little bit, Caitlin, is also going to be kind of based on, it looks more like a monument, and then it'll have the top portion where you can change the letters for different kinds of advertising, like you see apartments for rent or whatever.
Are they like marquee physical letters? Are they
Actual letters where, you take them off and put them on.
Digital signs are banned in
Yes.
the entire city now.
Yeah, okay. Just reconfirming that. Okay.
So, since they're applying for a creative sign permit, all the signs need to be, stepped up a little bit, more creative, and Caitlin can put on the standards for you. We have 4 standards that you have to meet all 4 of the criteria for, the general design criteria.
I'm curious what staff has found to be creative in this permit application.
I found a couple things. They are using some brushed gold lettering, which would count towards one of the creative sign standards. I think they're using some higher materials on the base. However, I can't answer to whether they meet all of the criteria. It doesn't appear that they do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it
So
seemed,
we're here to take your input.
yeah.
Thank you.
So I believe that the handout that you got recently is trying to show that there's going to be cut out letters, like the Pearson name is going to be cut out with gold leaf. So I believe the sign maker believes that it's higher quality. It would qualify for number 1 up here, higher quality materials, as well as the projecting or recess cutout. I think maybe the landscaping, because there is a lot of landscaping there already. I'm not sure if there's going to be lighting on it. I can stop screen sharing and see if the sign maker is on Zoom.
I reached out to the sign maker both at his office and on his cell phone, and he did not answer either one. And no, he's not on Zoom.
And no
Thank you, Raylene.
Is there any representation from Pico today?
There's not. Not on Zoom.
Okay.
I believe that the bases are also, and the monument sign is created to emulate the look of the building, which is also another one of the criteria.
Yeah, it looks like there is some lighting here. So cast down lighting. Oh, here we go. Hairline brush gold, Pearson.
Why are they going after creative sign permit? Because they want more area?
Because you can't have both a monument sign and a pole sign on one property.
And I believe that they do exceed the maximum sign area, each sign, the wall sign as well as the monument signs. And then maybe we have a site plan. Let me see.
We're
Nope.
open for just open comments right now, right? Chuck, I think go for it.
Yes.
Well, to me, this qualifies, under the guidelines that we're supplied with here. The only suggestion that I would make, and if its budget would allow, the changeable letter sign for the apartments for rent, I would suggest that be an LED display that could be controlled from in the office or remotely.
So unfortunately, all that would be considered a digital sign. In last year, I believe it became effective. All digital signs in the city are
Well,
banned.
I'm aware of that. I'm just suggesting that if it's at all possible to allow that with an exclusion or a waiver, that be done.
And you're saying that the sign would not change, like it wouldn't have multiple messages at one time. It would just have one message.
Oh, exactly. It would
And it would
look
be-
exactly like that, but it would take it up a notch aesthetically.
I think we would need a text amendment to remove that ban.
Yeah, or maybe the Director Kenyon could.
We can explore that option though.
Can you re-explain what you're saying? Not a digital sign, but just an
Well,
LED lit sign that has
Yes, it's a
cut
lit sign.
letters?
Yeah, it is a digital sign because it's the message is going to be displayed using an LED form of communication. The difference is that you don't have aesthetically you don't have the changeable letters and the retainer strips that go against the plastic. The plastic tends to, even if it's polycarbonate, it tends to yellow and look dirty. And the LED, if it fails, it just goes out. It's just black. And I think it's would be an improvement aesthetically for the project.
Okay. I have comments outside of that. I've always loved this building. I love the mid-century aesthetic. I really appreciate what Pico has done with it and how they've improved it. I've been watching it on the daily over the period of time that they've been renovating it. It's on my way to work. And so for that, I applaud them for all the work that they have to restore this building and bring it back to life. With that said, I am struggling to find the creative nature and the signage, and I understand the reasons for going after creative sign permit. Aesthetically, I think, like the Pico and the Pearson Company, like the brush gold letters and the custom LED channel letters, will look good on this building. But tying it back to the qualifiers is where I'm kind of at a loss. And I am struggling with the message sign. It's a lot of white in it. I mean, that's one of the highest traffic areas in our community, right? That intersection there. So I don't know. I'm just a little perplexed on on what suggestions to make this a true creative sign permit. I mean, we've had a lot of creative sign permits come through recently. I say a lot, but a handful of them come through recently, and they all have some element or artistic added three-dimensional piece to it. So for me, it's just letterings on a sign. So where can we get creative? What further enhances Pico's business and what they're trying in the messaging that they're trying to create? Like, I'm spitballing here, but can the sign that says apartments for rent, can it have some three-dimensional elements to it? Like, are there little housing cutouts that make it, I don't know, more artistic, more creative? I don't know how to get there, but
Or match the roof line.
or match the roof line,
'Cause it's an
elements.
interesting
Yes,
roof.
I was going to go there. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, the architecture of the structure could help inform the signage tenfold.
That was a good way to put it.
Yes.
I have a suggestion there.
Okay.
The reason that I suggested the LED format is because you can change the physical design of the sign from time to time. So you can have the roof line, you can create the roof line elements that you're speaking of. You can do that digitally and graphically from inside the office so that the sign isn't just a white background with black letters. It can be a brown background, it could be a deep green, it could be a turquoise. It has tremendous amount of flexibility that this sign does not have.
Sure. So they need an in-house designer to do that. They would need somebody in-house to be able to continuously.
Yeah, the answer is yes,
that.
although a lot of those things can be set up in advance. And it's just simply it's a menu board that you choose to display.
Yeah. So can they do things creatively to complement the architecture in the signage? That would be one question for the applicant. One of my many to add to the list.
Oh no, he's not there.
Others to add, Caroline.
If the sign that shows what's for rent, is it always going to be that? I mean, why can't some of that be permanently, like, if they can't, like, permanently painted or written on there permanently, and then what's for rent can be switched out? I mean, the phone number is going to not change, and I'm assuming the extension goes to the person who handles the rentals.
I think that stuff could remain static on the sign. However, Greg wanted flexibility for advertising when things change, like either it's the apartment or they could tie it to a sale at Pearson's or something else that they're doing. I just think he wanted more flexibility than just having one static sign for Pearson.
Okay.
Jeff has just signed in to Zoom.
I have to repeat all that.
Jeff Wills is our applicant, so if you have questions, you could ask him directly now that he's logged in. Thank you.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for joining us. Lots of good conversation around this one this morning. So hope you're available for questions. Are you there?
Are we all talking to me?
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi.
My feed just kicked in.
Oh, okay.
I hope you're available for questions.
I said lots of good conversation around this one this morning, so hope you're available for questions.
Yep. Sorry, I wasn't there. I guess I didn't realize it was today, but I can try to answer or explain any type of for any questions you have on the sign. So, what do you guys have?
Okay. Do you want to start, Chuck?
Yeah, the sign, as it stands right now, it's a conventional reader board. And my suggestion, of course, was to convert that to an LED display because of the flexibility for design. Sky's the limit. I mean, you can have flashing chase lights and the whole thing, but you don't have to. You can set it up so that it's a static message from, by hour or day or week.
Yeah, I mean, Greg really wants a digital reader board. The city code doesn't allow it, so he's working and hoping. Well, first he's working to try to petition some council members, because as I understand, that's the only way we can get that code changed is if it's initiated by a council member. But that's his ultimate goal. He's very frustrated that he can't get a digital reader board, but the wise city council of our great city of Eureka decided that for some reason businesses can't have this.
My suggestion on that was to seek an exclusion or a waiver for this particular project because it is not your conventional LED digital display.
Yeah, I mean, if that's grantable, that's what he wants. So I guess I would let staff let me know if we can actually do that.
Yeah, Jeff, Senior Planner Castellano here. We'll definitely bring it up with Kristen. I don't know if that would be allowed through a variance maybe, but we would explore that. But you're right, Jeff. It would definitely require if we can't do the variance, it would require a text amendment to change the code to start allowing digital signs again.
Let's do that.
Okay, so that's one piece of this. So, Jeff, I was commenting on the channel letters, all that looks good, but just trying to tie this to an actual creative sign permit is where I'm a little bit challenged. And so there was some further discussion about the shape or the form of the maybe the monument sign or even the reader board sign. No, the pole. I think you guys are calling it a pole sign. Though it's not on a pole. But in any case, if there's some nod to the architecture of the building, because Pico did such a wonderful job renovating it and restoring it, that maybe that might help tie into the creativity of it.
Yeah, I mean, Greg himself designed this. And he designed it with his building in mind. So I think his intention was to have it replicate the facade that they created there on the outside of the building as best they can. Yeah, that's what so like those vertical slats there, that's going to be the same slats that's on the that part, yep, and then the middle part between the two black cabinets, and then same matching for the other monument sign, I guess we're calling it now.
Sure, I see that. It's tiny. Like, is there a way to kind of further enhance that or emphasize it? I mean, they're builders too. Like, is there some element that makes it feel like, you know?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
the part of I look at the creative sign permit as like a process to make and install very aesthetically pleasing, nice signs that are of a higher quality than the average sign. Not so much, I guess, like the creative that it's like got 12 shapes to it.
Not asking
So,
for 12 shapes, just
yeah,
asking
I
for
understand
some enhance the creativity of
Yeah,
the.
but I mean, instead of we're not trying to be super creative, we're just trying to build a sign of, a very high aesthetic value that matches his building. So he's not trying to get too creative with it. He's just trying to use really nice materials with it. So even like the wall signs, those are going to be unlike any ones that have been produced in Humboldt County that I'm aware of, where there are. So the depth of the letter, it's called the return. And so that's the projection. It's like how the cross section of it. So these ones are actually half acrylic, half the brushed gold on the finish there, which is unique. We've never done a letter like that has the halo part be on the return with the acrylic. So I guess those are more creative in a way if they can check one of the boxes that need to be checked. But really, we're not creating the most creative sign. We're just trying to create a really high quality sign.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it'll be, I don't know. We put out some ideas and some suggestions here, but I think that, staff's going to have to clearly demonstrate the findings for design review. And
Yeah, I want to go back to the Piletzky sign we got through with the creative sign permit, because honestly, I mean, that was just like a beautiful use of this loophole. They're just standard signs, but I think everyone can agree that they're beautiful signs, and he did like a grand upgrade to his building, so they got passed through. So that's pretty much what Greg is doing with his building. He took an old, I don't remember it was there. It was never on my radar. But then when he moved in there and I went there, I'm like, oh my gosh, look how beautiful this place is. And, they did landscaping and they cleaned up the exterior and they made it look really nice. And now he wants to have signs to match that. So
totally
the only
understand.
reason
I'm
we're
not
even
saying,
here-
great,
I know,
Jeff,
but
I'm
just
not
trying
saying
to
that it's
figure out,
not
like,
aesthetically pleasing. I'm just saying
Yeah.
if it's a creative sign permit, there has to be the findings. And so right now, I think only a couple
I
of
guess,
findings
yeah,
have been
that's
met. Yeah. So we need to
what findings
be able
are
to,
we missing? And I'll tell you how it meets it, I guess. Can we do it like that? Like what are we missing?
yeah, I think that's something you work on with staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, right now, do you see the sign features, materials, conceptual criteria on the screen?
I mean, yes and no. It's literally like a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch.
Okay. Well,
I don't want my daughter to do with my computer, some on my cell phone.
okay. Because you have to meet 3 of these 12. And,
Yeah.
I understand from what I'm hearing from you, you would say that the project qualifies for number 1, higher quality materials. Number 2, the recess cutout letters, right?
Yeah.
And then, let's see, I guess 6, you're saying that the sign emulates the architecture of the building already.
Yeah, we can do that. So do we have to check 3 of these boxes?
Yep.
4.
Oh, 4.
Oh, 4. So now we need 1 more.
Yeah. So then maybe, I'm not sure what the landscaping around it is, but that's, number 3. That is one of them.
Well, he's already done that, but the landscaping is gonna have to be modified because both signs are gonna require footing. So essentially,
If it
there
was
will be
Yeah,
new landscaping all around it.
that's it. If it was landscaped all the way around, like, completely around the sign, then that would count as landscaped and you would get one of those.
Okay, so that's 4 then. Do we have it?
we could add one more, which would bring it to 5, which would be number 4 on the list, creative and unique use of lighting. The LED display qualifies for that as long as the exclusion or waiver could be granted.
Yeah, I would agree with that because those wall letters definitely have I think I did a pretty bad job of explaining it. Sorry, but the way those are built with the acrylic going up the sides of the letter is definitely a unique use of LED lighting. Like I said, there's no other channel letters that have their halo light come off like that. It's a very soft light. They're not very bright, but yeah, I think we should definitely be able to check that box as well then.
It'd be great to have an example, like an image or a case study image of what that looks like. In
I
the,
can provide that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
okay. I think it just help build the case, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're looking at a horribly done Photoshop job there of, what's going to be beautifully done 3-dimensional letters. So it's really hard to get it across. Like, looks just like a yellow letter on a piece of paper to me.
Yep.
And so here now are also the general design criteria. And I think where Chairwoman Banducci was going was number 3, the sign is of higher creative, artistic, or sculptural nature. So I believe your comments were trying to get to that finding, where it looks really good, but what's the artistic, creative, sculptural part? And from what I'm hearing, Jeff, you're saying it's those letters with the lighting and the gold.
Yeah, on the wall one, I mean, for his monument sign, what about the fact that it's using tons of different materials? So it has acrylic, it has aluminum, it has redwood, and then I don't know if that's redwood or not on the in between the base and the main part of the sign. So that's more unique for monument signs. They don't generally have more than, generally it's just either 1 or 2 types of material on them. This one will have 4. And just how it's built, it's got several different planes on it. So that, I guess, could potentially have it be creative.
Chairwoman Banducci had a couple suggestions, I think, before you logged on, Jeff. If you would like to go over those with him again, I took notes if you need help.
I don't. Which ones are you referring to specifically?
You requested potentially a 3-dimensional element, such as something matching the roof, which we think something matching roofing, and also perhaps maybe something like cutouts of housing is what you said, or houses.
Yeah. So that comment was
For the reader board.
was the reader board to try and enhance it from being just a big white box, when kind of building off of Chuck's suggestion. So like if we couldn't get through his suggestion, with council or whatever happens, is there a way to like kind of break that down or add an element to it that makes it more more creative? Yeah. So yeah, just thoughts on, my thing about big white glowing boxes, but
yeah, definitely. Greg, at the very least, we added the wood trim top and bottom, and then again, it's on different planes. So we have our pedestal that will be, we'll call that 4 inches in depth, and then, let's say 30 inches wide. Then you have the next step up, which is wood, which that'll be a 6 inches in depth and 68 inches wide, and then the main cabinet will be deeper again and wider, and then the top pedestal is again deeper and wider. So at least we have lots
maybe
of
that
different
the upper roof part, or the top part of it maybe is a small shed roof, and kind of mimics the building.
Yeah.
And now that you've said that those are going to be redwood, matching the building, like that helps us visualize it, right? It wasn't totally clear to us in the pre-application. So, what all the materials were going to be, but I don't know. Those are just thoughts of trying to, enhance the big white box.
Yeah, Jeff, if you could send or upload to OpenGov your material list, that would be super helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would
and
be
kind of a description of how, I know you have it here, custom made front lit channel letters, but with the hairbrush gold halo, I know you described it a lot better for us to really understand what's going on and the uniqueness of it. So if you could put that in writing for us, that would be really helpful.
And some like
Yeah, and I'm
example
actually-
images would be also.
Yeah, and maybe some example
That's
images.
what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
To me, a picture's worth 1,000 words. A wonderful saying. But I'm gonna get some photos. These are manufactured by a company called Gemini Sign Letters, and they're out of Minnesota. So I'll just get some photos of some examples of these.
Okay.
Like I said, there's none in Humboldt County that I've been aware of. I've been trying to sell a set of these letters for a while. 'Cause, from
Okay.
the photos I've seen, they're just really high end, really nice looking letters.
Okay. Well, hopefully we will get some good examples of that, when the application comes through. Not trying to beat this up by any means, just trying to have an open conversation about it and what was presented. So we appreciate the detail that you've added to help paint the picture,
Yeah,
so
of
that we have a
course.
better understanding. Yeah.
It
Chuck,
kind
did you
of
have
seems
something to
like
add?
this is the way the Broadway Animal Hospital creative sign permit went through as well. So, I mean, in my opinion, it just seems like a good process to get these types of signs to check the boxes that need to be checked.
Yeah. Thank you. Did you have something to add, Chuck? Sorry. You're good?
I'm fine.
Oh, okay. You lean forward. Okay. I take visual cues, Okay. Anything further from the committee staff? Okay. Jeff, thank you again for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry I wasn't, and thank you, Raylene, for being on it and getting me. It totally slipped my mind. So she saved the meeting. Good job.
We can call.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you, Jeff. Cameron back in.
Yeah,
Oh,
bye.
yes. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. So we have completed our review for the creative sign permit at 3116 Harrison, and we can have Ryan come back.
Please do.
Ryan, if you're in the hallway, you're welcome back. All right. Ryan has rejoined us, and so we will move on to item H, Director's Reports and Communications.
I do have something. On April 10th, we're going to ask the Design Review Committee form a subcommittee to review a future gateway sign near the Herrick Overpass. The city of Eureka is partnering with Caltrans to do this welcome sign, and we'd love your feedback. So the subcommittee would be appointed by the chair, and there would be 2 members. And so we'd present the designs, and then you guys can deliberate and then come back and report back to the community. And then we can forward it to Caltrans and the city staff. So keep an eye out for that for the April 10th
Great.
meeting.
Thank you. Okay. Other reports and communications? All right. Oral communications. This section of the meeting provides the committee members and the public an opportunity to address the Design Review Committee on any subject not appearing on the agenda. We have no one left in the audience this morning, and no one left on Zoom. Okay. Anything else from the committee today? I just want to say,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I have a blank screen. I can't see anything.
Can't
My
see anything.
screen's blank.
Uh-oh.
That one's blank. This one has jiggled through the whole meeting.
Having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're having technical.
Okay.
Other than that.
Before we end, I just want to say thank you all for your comments. And, sometimes reviews are not always so straightforward, and for your time today. So I think that we had some good conversations with all of the groups before us, and just want to say, good work.
I want to say that I really appreciate Cassidy's presence here because we need an architect here.
Yes.
The quality of life issue is something that kind of escapes me when I'm doing designs and weighing in on these kinds of things. And I appreciate Cassidy's bringing that back in front, because ultimately that is the goal. Everything revolves around quality of life. If you don't have that, the rest is just a joke.
Right. Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate that. Okay. Seeing nothing further, I will take this opportunity to adjourn our meeting and wish everyone well until we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you.